Cool. Right. So I already showed like some kind of like bits last time of this meetup, what kind of like I wanted to create. And again, I wanted to create something for Christmas. I basically have an empty parking lot in front of my house, and I wanted to engage like people, even because this time it's a bit crap because of COVID. It's not like fun to go around. Also, many people are stuck at home. It's kind of a bit sad, and so on. And even if you go around, you just see like some lights and Christmas. It's cool to see like some of this stuff moving. And we were in lockdown, and I wanted to create something cool that interact with people. So I came up with a Christmas project, which some people from work as well help in case of, in part of creativity, because I'm sort of like creative, but not like crazy. So again, so I got the parking spots there, so that was my space. I was like, can you help me out to kind of like find out what can I make? I had a few ideas, but then I did some brainstorming. So I went online. I was like, so I need to put a Christmas tree, maybe a bubble machine, just because like a snow machine was cool, but it was too expensive to run. Maybe a train that can be controlled with some sort of stuff, a cable car that simulates something like a ski resort that goes up and down. Some interactive installation in a way. So I got my in a piece of paper. I decided to sketch something up. Like let's put a tree there. Let's put a game there. Let's put like a window slides. Let's put a candy box. Let's create a belt system that dispense the candy, like Santa, system. Kind of crazy. Like I was trying to come up with like a something. I didn't know what to, didn't know what I was getting into. So I was like, let's draw it up. And then let's make it a bit, visual on not on paper but there. So again, Christmas tree, a game, conveyor belts, some segments on the window, and so on. So I was like, that's cool. Let's do it. So I bought a tree and don't care about the messy house, but so I decided like let's give a try. Let's buy a tree. Uh, let's make sure that the tree is not too expensive because last time I put something outside, someone smashed the pumpkin like straight away. So if it gets stolen, I won't cry so much. And then I will find some LEDs for it. So I went online and I got this waterproof, what was that, WS2811 maybe? I can't remember. Maybe like later I'll come up with the right model, which they're addressable. They look like normal like LEDs from the tree, so it look cool. They they're okay basically for tree and outside door. And then some LEDs for outside from the window. I had some around from previous projects, so I didn't have to buy them. So I just tape it around in the frame. And the game was kind of like the tricky one to kind of pick because I wanted to have some interactivity by the user, but something not too difficult to play, but something kind of you have to kind of play a little bit to get the reward back. So googling around like games for Christmas for kids, I came out with Candy Canes Ladder, which is of course is um, it's Snakes and Ladder, but Christmas version. So again, super simple. You go through, from 1 to 35. You got, the candy canes that take you down, the ladders it goes up. And I got some help with some, designer to kind of give me like some uh, stuff to print and then to create the actual game physically. Because you think about like, oh yes, let's make it, but then after you have to actually build it from scratch. I kind of came up with the structure, like, like it has to be like all these boxes, so I have to separate it between them, so the lights of each cell will not, interference with the other ones, and so on. That's again like how the vinyl is going to look like, because I will get a acrylic transparent one, and then I will just, cut off all the all the vinyl, and then stick it up to the right place and do some messy job. Of course, the user has to interact with something. I would have preferred to find something less, a bit more COVID safe, but eventually I came up with, decision to go with a button, even because this button has a light inside, so it can kind of glow as well. So I can give a visual effect, and it can also be pressed with a foot, which some people got it, some people didn't get it. So yeah, I was trying to be more COVID safe in a way. So I went with the button. Uh, I went also with these segment screens from SparkFun. They're like 7 inch. They're pretty big. This will basically replicate in the game where usually you throw a dice. You should kind of like show like some number coming up, like you roll the 5, you roll the 6 or 7, so on. The segment basically are there to show what kind of number you rolled. Of course, because people cannot be there physically, I wanted to give also visual to people online, so I got a Pi and a camera. I went through 2 different cameras, but then I'll explain maybe later why. But yeah, basically a Pi that was streaming the data. Um, I saw this in the kind of like idea from the internet. There was a guy, if you Google like this guy, basically on YouTube, he made this dispenser. So I basically copied him. I bought a frame, and then I made a box, and then I had to find from only one place in the UK I could find a spiral dispenser machines coil, which you can maybe buy on eBay, but it was kind of like 5 times the price of the actual retailer price. So I called this guy and I said like, oh, I want a spring for a vending machine, and he started to say, but which vending machines? What do you want to do? Blah 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 blah. And I was like, I just want a coil. That's it. And then he kept calling me back, saying like, but what do you want to do? So short story, eventually I got it. Um, one thing that I kind of went wrong is that I use a continuous servo to kind of turn the coil, which it worked, but it didn't, because it doesn't have like an actual position. I wasn't not matched every single time to dispense one candy. So sometimes it didn't work, sometimes it worked. So I should have gone with actually motor that comes with the vending machines. That's, you can see that he used that, but I didn't. You know, going for cheap, and then there is more work to do. That's basically my thing. So it's very crap, but I built the box, and then I was testing the coil with the candy. Again, I kind of find out some specs, like what it means, all the different stuff. Like I kind of understood what each number meant, because different calls, they have like different depth between like each wind. So I had to kind of like understand how this kind of information were compare from paper to actually physically ones. So that was very like a good tutorial to kind of like understand. That basically is my schematic sort of network I created, because I basically split in 3 kind of system. So there was a first system that was the game. I was supposed to use a TNC, but TNC eventually had some problem with the fast LEDs, and I ditched that for a Arduino Uno, kind of wrong, which took care of the game, to the dispenser, the belt, and the button. So that was just that. And then I had another one that was actually a mega because the tree animation they had more data coming through, so it was a bit more. I needed more memory, and I was taking care of the tree, the segment, and the Windows lights. And then I had the Pi that was just doing the streaming and then the speaker. All of this they were communicating between I2C, so I created like a network between them. Uh, the game was talking to the segment, saying like show like the number, and then the Pi was pulling information from again from the Mega, asking which audio I should play. Actually, no, sorry, the Uno, which sound I should play, because every single time you press a button, it will play a sound. Every single time you finish the game, it will play a different sound, and so on. So it was kind of like from the Pi to the Uno, but to the Uno to the Mega. So there was like bidirectional, but only the Pi could do one directional, because you had to use a different kernel version to do bidirectional on the Pi. So I didn't really bother too much. So I just made a one directional, and it worked. I worked everything out, like I was working at 5 volts and 12 volts. So I tried to stick with one, not two power supply. Yeah, one, two, actually not two power supplies of 12 volts, and then I step it down for the lights with some UVEC to 5 volts. That was the idea of also like the lights. Like I wanted to create something cool, so I kind of came up with like the different like scenarios to write Christmas with different frames by lighting up the different lights on the tree. There was another one, the twinkle, kind of slide down kind of effects for the lights. I wanted to do the UK flag. This actually failed. Kind of like three lines that can just go diagonal. This similar to the other one, but kind of like two diagonals that kind of show candy cane colors. A three colors kind of fly, they kind of like rotate all together. A rainbow ones, they but just basically go up and down, changing colors. A snake. Actually, I mostly stole this kind of idea from this application here that you can buy LED lights and you can control them and create animations. So I stole them from there. Carnival as well. This kind of like basically creates different like patterns randomly. I try to kind of be more NHS spirit as well, to create to write NHS, and also some animation on the window, like when you roll, basically this one just go around, 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 blue and white, and when you're winning, different colors, and so on. So then we started the build. The build was kind of like very long and slow, and wasn't not precise at all. So I had to cut all the woods and then apply with the glue, with the screws, and then the acrylic on top and with the vinyl. This was basically the result at the end. There is a small video here. Replay. That's what kind of like animations was looking like. These are some of them, like the lights on the tree. So this actually an S, if you can kind of like understand it. It's not like very clear. Like in the dark, it's actually better. The right one is just like a normal lights. Yeah, I mean, I actually try to write something with the contrast of red, but actually just writing with one color, it pop up more. Then yeah, this was a work in progress of what I made of the lights. So basically just cycled through different colors, but I can show later more. And then that basically was the first part of the install. So because I couldn't really occupy the parking lot because I had some work to be done in the house, so I had to start with the windows only, and then the segment. This kind of what it looked like, more or less. Again, the picture they don't give that impression of that it is, because it's always hard to kind of capture the real life feeling, but that was what you can see from the camera. That was basically the final result. So left one in the night and then right one in the day. Eventually, I ditched the conveyor belt because it was too difficult to kind of build, and I gave up. I had no time. It took me like a month's time to build all this. So you can see I kept the box, I kept the game, the tree, the dispenser, and I just made a slope with some tablecloth made, bought it from the internet. Um, and this basically is the results. Hold on. Next. I think the most difficult part in this project was to source the candy. I went to Poundland where usually you can get a bunch of them for very cheap, but they basically run out everywhere. So I had to buy over 500 candies on the internet and kept filling up like every night. It was kind of like, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 sometimes, or even more. I had to kind of go outside and fill up the machines again. And this was like kind of crazy, like also to see all the reaction of people saying like, oh my God, so amazing, and so on. Um, that was crazy. This was kind of like what I made. Basically, I got some boxes um, for the Pi, for the Arduino. I actually use an Arduino Nano, not the Uno. Um, try to label up some cables, which was kind of like easier to kind of connect together. One thing I found out that one of the box was not very waterproof that much, so it got water inside, and the segment stopped working because the I2C communication was broken. So fuck that. It kept working the animation, the whole installation, but yeah, that was it. But yeah, that was basically the final thing. Like I had to put more information over there, say use the fruit because people were just tapping on the actual games. They didn't really get to play the role games, but yeah, um, that's it. I don't know. Where's the chat here? Well, I don't know if there is any.
Awesome. So, say it took a month to do it. How many? Like, is that every few? Is that every night you're working on, or how did you fit that in?
It was a bit crazy. Like I tried to do like during work time, and then it happened like also like my cat disappeared for 2 weeks, which was emotionally a bit crazy. So it was hard to kind of continue to work on it, but I eventually pushed and uh, I got it basically working. But yeah, it was LEDs light on the Christmas tree took me like maybe 3 days of night work. Um, but yeah, for the LED smart screen, I did something very stupid. Like, I mean, I can probably show what I've done, but I I basically just got the thing. Like, I put all these kind of lights all around it, and then I started to kind of like to run one by one. So like, okay, this is because basically I had to kind of face one face of the tree, and I said like, okay, this is one by one, and so on. Um, and I kind of map it in a way. Um, can you just give me a screen?
Yep. See your screen. Yep.
All right. Let's see. So, like, I created all this kind of it's crazy, but I created like for the row, uh, which were kind of like from what number to what number was starting and so on, and then was going through for the letters for NHS. I mapped which LEDs will kind of like show better the the kind of like the letter, and also like some other like um, crazy stuff over here, like this kind of the columns like going down, and mapping diagonal stuff as well. And so on. Like it's not like, I mean, it's sort of okay, but each function basically was doing one animation and so on. Like if someone wants the code, I can just give it to them. It's not, I'm not taking it like it's, I can share it, but it was kind of fun to kind of like create it. But I know that could have been done much clever in a way. Like you can maybe use OpenCV to kind of map each one and then create a better animation. But eventually, I don't know. I like to code the stuff down, so I just made it.
Yeah.
Um,
So your neighborhood's going to expect it again next year then.
well, I'm thinking something about Easter.
Oh, okay.
Uh, I can give you a pick maybe. Uh, Vandalism, there was one where a guy ran into the tree and then he tried to pick it up and run away. But he didn't know that they put like 3 bags of rocks underneath and a chain. So he kind of got stuck with a tree and it's like, I cannot do anything. And he runs off. So that was only the only kind of vandalism that I got for it. Other than that, just people being like silly, just stepping over it. But that's it. like not much on else.
Brew, I think you have a question there. Did you want to ask that?
Yeah, if you
No, I only asked about how you mapped it, but that was
yeah, it's
very cool.
But it's very cool. Like I have discovered that this kind of like I2C communications. Like I can show you it here maybe. So for example, the tree here is pretty simple to do. Like over here, you just like begin the stuff here. You give an address what it is. Like for example, event, and then on the event you basically receive the events like if it was like starting with one and then after the second byte was something else, it will basically define what was it. So basically you were sending 2 bytes, and basically 2 bytes you can do whatever. But also for the pi, it was also like it took me some time to do the streaming because I basically found out eventually how to stream the stuff, and I use RTSP. Actually, no, wait. This is probably not the latest one. How is this? I think I used something else, but um, but yeah, for it, I think I used UDP, but I'm not sure why this one shows this one. Maybe I didn't push the latest one. But yeah, to grab the camera feed and then push it to OBS, that was going to be challenging because I didn't want to go through straight to Twitch because I wanted to have this kind of overlay of the donation box. But that basically what I've done. I grabbed the feed and then I stream it to my local machines, and in my local machines and OBS was picking up the feed and then it was basically throw it to Twitch. But also to make the Twitch bot, it was super simple. Like you just create this kind of like bot event, and if you do a command row, you call something and so on. It was super simple to do, like few lines. And it just does everything. Um, but yeah, but again, like if you guys want to have the code, I can share it if you're interested.
Cool. If there's no other questions, then we'll.
Yeah, I've seen the Matt Parker stuff one there, but I think it got a bit crazy, like mapping and stuff like that. I actually watched that after I've done my stuff. I was like, could have done that. But yeah.
Excellent. It's like a lot of good fun. Everyone enjoyed it. Your whole neighborhood.
Yeah, so many kids and so many came back again and like, whoa.
Good. I'm jealous. Should do something like that next year. A whole year to plan now.
Sorry?
I have a whole year to plan now for what to do at my house.
Yeah. I mean, for Easter, I'm going to probably plan something like a memory game that you step on it. Because like I think people didn't really get this kind of game too well. Some people were like depressing once and they're like, what happened? Nothing. But if it's like something more visual, like you step on top of like this kind of like grid, and each one has a screen underneath, and like cheap one. Like I'm probably going to use a Pi Zero with analog output and these screens that you can find for CCTV cameras on car on your reverse. They're pretty cheap, and you connect all together. And then some probably scale sensor that when you step on it, you basically flip the card and you go to the other tile and you flip it and you can match it and so on. When you match it, at the end you get an egg, like a caddy egg, creamy egg basically. So similar system but a different game.
Cool. Okay.